Hello everyone, my name is Micah Maelstrom and these are my thoughts on the demo for Outriders.
Pointed right at your...
Now first and foremost, I want to say that this review is for the demo. The full game comes out April 1st, assuming this isn't an elaborate high-budget April Fool's Day prank, which is entirely possible. They do include a quite substantial amount of content here though, so there's plenty of content to review, but just take what I say with a large pinch of salt, okay? Okay, let's get into it. So let's start off strong here by saying that the combat in this game is great. Abilities have quick cooldown timers and lots of variety and power, and they feel so freaking hyped to pull off. The guns all feel very good to use, especially sniper rifles and shotguns, which pack some serious punch. The combat feels very visceral, and while some of the animations feel a bit lifeless, you hardly notice when you're blowing someone's head off while getting shot from 5 directions. My main complaint about the combat is that I would have liked the cover system to be a bit more intuitive. There's no animation cancelling, so sometimes getting in and out of cover can feel a bit clunky at times, especially when trying to round corners. The system does work well enough, but it feels pretty dated and could use a lot of improvements to get it up to more modern standards. There are 4 classes in Outriders, and I've played through the entire demo with all 4 of them. They all feel great to play as, and I was pleased to find that they are all very adaptable. What I mean by that is you don't feel locked into a specific role or playstyle while playing a specific class, and I really enjoy that. While Devastator may seem to be the go-to tanking choice, you could just as easily make an AoE damage build focused on bleed damage. Trickster, which seems like a standard close-range DPS, has abilities that allow them to alter time and space, allowing for surprisingly effective tank and support options with its versatile slows. And I could go on. So I will, in another video. Like and subscribe so you don't miss it. There's also this great mechanic where each class heals using a different method, and I really love this system. See, you only recover part of your health bar automatically, and beyond that you have to use your specific class healing mechanic. This serves to make the classes feel really unique, and forces you to actively make quick decisions in combat to recover your health. For example, as the Pyromancer, you recover health by killing enemies who you've previously hit with your skills, so to recover health you need to burn some fools like the glorious god of fire you are. As one of the core aspects of any good looter shooter, loot plays an incredibly important role in the overall quality of the game, and is an easy area to get very wrong. So that begs the question, did this game get it right? In my opinion, absolutely. Of course, I will note that this is from the demo and not the full game, so it's yet to be seen how this will pan out in the long term, but so far, it feels really good. Pretty early on, you get equipment that has all sorts of mods that other games would typically reserve for gear sets and legendaries, and these get better as the game progresses and as you get higher quality gear. This makes it so you can start making interesting builds with gear right from the start, rather than being forced to wait until endgame. A couple of examples of this are I found this fully automatic shotgun that while shooting enemies provided me with an extra damage shield. This felt especially awesome as with my Devastator abilities I could stay right up in the action, and while barely taking any damage I could blast my way through hordes of enemies. A more legendary example is I was lucky enough to find these glorious legendary fully automatic pistols, Torment and Agony, that when reloaded would deal over 1,000 damage to anyone I shot before I reloaded. On top of that, I got the mod Clip Combustion on them, meaning anyone within 5 meters of me took 25 damage when I reload. This meant that I could shoot a whole bunch of enemies once and then reload and watch them all explode around me. Now personally I'm not much of a believer, but boy does finding a legendary in this game have me singing the praises of RNGesus. Now, onto the things I didn't like quite so much. The world is a series of more linear, interconnected levels with most of the design feeling rather generic. I feel like this is a pretty big missed opportunity because the planet itself has a lot of potential that feels wasted on fairly average-looking battlefield settings. The exception to this, however, is the anomalous storms that sweep across the world, causing chaos and destruction in their wake. You'll see gravity-defying rocks and debris, as well as a sky turning orangish red. I really hope that in the full release we see more areas heavily impacted by storms, as these areas seem much more interesting than what we have in most of the demo. Also, the grass and people's hair and faces look, well, really bad and blurry. Excuse me, sir, not to alarm you, but it appears that someone is trying to censor your face. And don't even get me started on the cutscenes, where the excessive camera shake and low frame rate makes me want to vomit. Seriously though, Who hired this cameraman? Again though, I can't state enough how this is for the demo. I really hope the full game steers away from the more generic looking Battlefield settings, which from what I've seen from footage they've put out, appears to be the case, but we will see on final release. Now, when it comes to the story thus far, it's fairly interesting, but it's not the best, and the prologue feels a little long. And I will say too that the voice acting is just kind of okay, with some of the dialogue and cutscenes feeling a bit too generic or trying too hard to be cool. I do like the story overall though, especially the lore behind the Altered and the anomalous storms. It makes for a really good mystery and does make you want to keep going and learn more. As for performance on PC, I had really great performance with hardly any bugs and glitches, and the frame rate stayed consistently high. I did crash a couple times, but not often, and as of writing they just released an update that they said should fix this, but I thought I should still mention it. I also had some issues with multiplayer and matchmaking, but this is another thing they said should be fixed by release, so likely not a big deal, and I only had minor issues with it in the first place, so it should be fine. So on that note, what do you think of the demo thus far? And also, how do you think the final game will turn out at launch? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section down below, and if you like the video and want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. This is actually my first time making anything like this, so thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end. Blessings of RNGesus be upon you, and I'll see you in the next one.